Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video we have an affordable motherboard by Colorful, which is the B860M-GHA Wi-Fi. Being a B860M motherboard means it's for the latest, the Intel Ultra 200 series CPUs. Now this board retails at just about RM650-ish, and let me tell you why it is of such great value for money. Now this board itself is a huge step up compared to the previous generation B760M motherboard. It's under the Battle X range of Colorful's motherboard, and yet when you compare it before, as in the previous generation, and now, worlds apart, it looks like from a different lineup altogether, simply because of the many features that are found in this board, which I'm going to share about. Starting off, let's look at the VRM heatsink. Of course, I'm not going to do a benchmark on the VRM heatsinks. I only have an Intel Ultra 5 245K, which definitely this heatsink is plenty sufficient to handle. It's thick, it's nice. It's not just on the IO side, it's on the top side as well. So what this means is that this board could actually handle Ultra 7 or even Ultra 9 for gaming load. And definitely, if you are looking at an Ultra 9, I don't think you'll be looking at a motherboard like this. This is for people who typically using Ultra 5 or Ultra 7. I believe it can handle as well. So this is actually good stuff for a motherboard at this price point. Nice looking heatsink for the VRM that's plenty capable of gaming workloads, and then for full-on CPU all-core workload, I reckon Ultra 7 will do, and who knows, Ultra 9 might be able to do it as well. But like I said, if you're looking at Ultra 9, I don't think you'll be looking at this board. You'll be looking at the other board that I've reviewed before, which is the Z890 Ultra. The next thing I like about this motherboard is that it comes with Wi-Fi 6, and it's not just Wi-Fi 6. It has nice looking antenna. So Wi-Fi is not, if the board does not come with Wi-Fi, you have to add on another piece, and it's not cheap. So having a Wi-Fi connectivity on an RM650 board, which is a very nice add-on as for the convenience, because many people are using Wi-Fi, and to have a Wi-Fi on the board definitely is a plus point. Next up, I'm going to talk about the M.2, and the M.2 part is going to be like 3 parts on it. So the first thing to highlight, that what I like about the M.2 slots is that there's 3. Typically, budget motherboards have 2. Some may even have just 1, but this one has 3. And among the 3, the one at the top is a PCIe Gen5 M.2 slot. Really nice. And then it also comes with an M.2 heatsink. Of course, if you're using a Gen4 M.2 SSD, then the heatsink will be plenty sufficient. NVMe speeds are really fast. However, for Gen 3, Gen 4, they are fine. But for Gen 5, typically Gen 5 SSDs, usually it will come with active cooling anyway, so you will not be using the heatsink here. So overall, these things, they are really nice, and yeah, and these 2 pieces are just under the graphics card area. So what you can do is, like, you have the main one for OS, another 2 for whatever storage you want. Assuming you have enough budget for M.2 as storage, you can go for the cheaper ones. They're okay. Or in some cases, you have the first one, like me, you can have the first one OS, second one for storage, a third one where you can swap around drives. Maybe you have, like for me, I have games. Of course, my games I'm using external. I'm just giving you an example of what you can do with the third slot. It can be a random usage M.2 slot. So that's a very nice touch. Very nice to have 3 M.2 slots. Or in worst case scenario, if ever one is spoiled, you can use the other. Right. Now the next point, to me, is a plus point, but to other people this may not be a plus point. I like that this motherboard does not come with any form of ARGB, so I do not have to off it. But to some people, they like ARGB under the heatsinks and all that. Well, if you have ARGB lights, then the price definitely is going to be higher, which I think that will defeat the current value proposition of this motherboard. But the good news is that you still have ARGB pins for your other ARGB peripherals connectivity. Now let's talk about the actual downsides. The first one to me is the lack of pre-mounted I/O shield. I wish it's pre-mounted, but I guess it's okay-ish for something of this price point. But I really do wish that it is pre-mounted so that I don't lose track of my I/O panels, the I/O shield. Now the second downside of this motherboard is that there's no USB Type-C connectivity, not on the back, not on the front. Now this may not be a negative point for some people, and perhaps this is why the price point is actually reduced. Personally, I like it to have this USB-C at the front and rear, but it's just too bad it does not have. And the last point is that memory compatibility. Now my other Intel boards, they are usually compatible even with my high-end HyperX memory kit. However, this one, it does not run that kit. It just refuses to boot even with the BIOS update. But my other memories seem to work at least, so I managed to get a good run of this motherboard. Looking at the compatibility list, I'm surprised to see that the list is quite short. The lack of mainstream brands and their SKU, and the list is confusing to look at as the models are sorted by speed instead of brand. I do hope to see this list get expanded, as this is a good board, but a short list is not helping the impression. And yeah, pretty much that. These are just the few negative points about that, and I'm sure some of you might be concerned of the BIOS interface. The BIOS interface is nice. For this kind of motherboard, you're not going to do much tweaking. I managed to enter BIOS, load memory profiles, even manually setting memory, so I don't see an issue. It works as it should be. And speaking of memory setting, I just remember another point that I want to add is that if ever you fail at memory setting, there's a nifty, nice little button here, which is for the BIOS reset. Really nice thing to have when it comes to a motherboard, especially when you have function to manually tune the memory. So having a BIOS reset is really nice. And plus point to them also for having DisplayPort, HDMI and PS2 connectivity. I just randomly thought of that. Good to highlight. But overall, I think this is a great value board coming at RM650 for your Intel setup. Now we'll just leave the choice of Intel setup for another video, because personally I do like this Intel setup. And with that said, I'm ending this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.